What is up guys, it's Aswell here, back with another Wrath of the Lich King Classic video. Before we start, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, as there might be some future Wrath Classic beta key giveaways on this channel, and you already know that if I get selected for those giveaways, I will give all of them to you guys. So today we are once again looking at professions in Wrath of the Lich King, as a part of my professions review and gold making series, where I talk about one profession per video, and its gold making potential. It's basically a profession review specifically aimed at gold making and gold farming in Wrath of the Lich King. Today we are talking about herbalism, and more specifically we are talking about why you need herbalism in Wrath of the Lich King Classic for gold farming. So let's begin. First, the demand for herbs will be absolutely insane. Think about Classic WoW and TBC Classic, where the demand for herbs was already huge, pretty much only because of alchemy and people using herbs to craft flasks and potions. In Wrath of the Lich King, we get a brand new crafting profession that is also based on herbalism as a base profession, which is Inscription, which provides a whole new avenue of demand for herbs in Wrath of the Lich King, and Inscription has huge potential to be absolutely massive early in Wrath, which will require a lot of materials, and herbalists will get rich. On top of this, there will still be constant demand for herbs from alchemy as well, because those flasks and potions will still be useful. So basically, the demand is just going to go to a whole other level, because we get another profession that needs herbs. If we go a little bit deeper into Inscription and look at, for example, Darkmoon Card of the North, this craft requires 50... Why did I say 50? This craft requires 3 eternal lives per craft, and eternal lives are mainly farmed from herbalism. Exactly how you can farm them we will get into later in this video, but having herbalism is essential to farming eternal lives, and as you need 3 to craft 1 Darkmoon card, I think you can start to get a picture of how many eternal lives people will actually need to craft their entire deck. And the demand for eternal life will be huge, which once again will make herbalists rich. There will also be a constant demand for herbs, as a lot of recipes within both alchemy and inscription are obtained from a daily research craft, which creates a constant demand for herbs until people find all of the recipes from that craft, which basically functions as a burn mechanism when it comes to herbs, as these are only used to learn new recipes, and they don't really give you anything worth selling from that daily research craft, and because new people will constantly be joining, and people will be leveling up alts, these daily research crafts by themselves will actually create a pretty big demand throughout the expansion. So let's get into exactly how to farm with herbalism. Well, there's pretty much 2 different methods, but it's worth knowing about both of them, and there's a lot of different farming locations within each specific category. So first up, simply fly around the world and farm herbs, basically herb gathering. This can be done in Northrend for Northrend Herbs, but with Inscription in Wrath of the Lich King, there is also a lot of demand for older herbs as well, from either the Burning Crusade or even going back to Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms. And for example, I am currently making over 400 gold per hour doing herbalism and mining in Winterspring, as people are purchasing those herbalism materials to prepare for Inscription, and as the actual gold per hour from herbalism is highly dependent on the competition, aka how many people are farming in your zone, it might be worth revisiting and checking out some older and forgotten zones with less competition. The next category of farming within herbalism is killing mobs that can afterwards be gathered with herbalism. Examples of this, for example, is lashers like the Direwall lashers we had in Classic WoW, or even the big elite trees in TBC Classic, and now we also have lashers in Wrath of the Lich King, located in the southwestern location of Wintergrasp. This is an absolutely insane farming location for eternal lives in Wrath, but it's also a very popular location, and it's in Wintergrasp, which opens up the avenue of world PvP, and there's a weekly quest located at this location, which requires killing and looting lashers. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that this is a really good farming location, but it's also highly competitive, and as I just said, gold per hour is highly dependent on competition. I also have a lot more Eternal Life farms listed in my Wrath of the Lich King Gold Guide, which contains all of my gold making info for Wrath, which you can find a link to down below in the video description, and by using the code Solheim you can also get it for 50% off. If you're serious about gold making in Wrath, this is a guide that you might want to check out, and by purchasing the guide once, you will also receive all of the future updates for free, and I will make sure it's all up to date with the most relevant gold making information. So let's take a look at which herbs we actually have in Northrend, as well as where to find them. First you have Fire Leaf and Fire Seeds, both of which are actually gathered by harvesting fire thorns, which you can find in Borean Tundra. Next you have Tiger Lilies and Dead Nettles, which are found by harvesting Tiger Lilies, which can be found in Borean Tundra, Sholazar Basin, Howling Fjord, Grizzly Hills and Suldrak. Gold Flowers and Dead Nettles can be found by harvesting gold flowers in Borean Tundra, Sholazar Basin, Howling Fjord, Grizzly Hills and Dragonblight. Talendra's Rose and Dead Nettles can be found by harvesting Talendra's Roses in Suldrak as well as Suldrak's border. Adder's Tongue can be found in Sholazar Basin. Lich Bloom can be found in the Storm Peaks, Ice Crown, Suldrak, Wintergrasp, Dragonflight and Crystalsong Forest, aka all of the icy zones really. And finally, Ice Thorn can be found in the Storm Peaks, Ice Crown, Wintergrasp and Crystalsong Forest, as well as 2 spawns in Dragonblight. What is also really cool about professions in Wrath of the Lich King is that even gathering professions get a bonus to them. Like for example, Herbalism gives you Lifeblood, which is a heal over time effect. Not anything too noteworthy and probably the least valuable bonus from either of the professions, but it's still a heal over time, which can be useful, especially when farming mobs. Personally, I'm definitely gonna have Herbalism on a character in Wrath. It is just too good to pass up when it comes to gold farming, and by using a cast sequence macro, you can also have both Herbalism and mining at the same time for insane amounts of gold per hour. Phase 1, aka Naxxramas in Wrath Classic, is also the easiest raid tier of all time, unless they make some drastic changes for raid difficulty in Wrath Classic. So personally, I would recommend anyone who cares about gold to have at least one gathering profession, instead of min-maxing your professions for raid performance in Phase 1, because once again, Phase 1 is just way too easy already, and the gold making potential is simply just too high. There's so much gold to be made in Phase 1 by gold farming contrary to later phases. I wouldn't even be surprised if you can farm over 1000 gold per hour in Phase 1 of Wrath, while later down the line those same farms will be worth a lot less, because there will be a lot less demand, as people are skilling up their alchemy and inscription and crafting their Wrath stuff. The demand for herbs will be at an all-time peak, and therefore the gold per hour from Herbalism will also be at an all-time peak. But yeah, that is pretty much it for today. I did want to include some Herbalism roots as well, but I'm still waiting for the Wrath beta, so I can test it out on the real classic environment and the client before I start working on those, so I know they will be based on the correct spawns, and once I have them down, I will make videos on those as well, so stay tuned. That is it for today though. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below if you will have Herbalism or not, and subscribe for more Wrath videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.